Hello, everyone. It's so nice to see so many familiar faces, names. We will start very soon. We will give it a few more minutes to let's join everyone. But I welcome everyone to communicate also with me and with others in chat. So for now, you can write probably where are you joining from. Are you in Europe? Are you in US? Are you in Czech Republic or in Spain? We have here one Czechia with Turkish spirit. Amazing. Czech Republic. That's not a coincidence. We have here also one Prague, but from Romania, Barcelona. Also Mexico. Send us a little bit of your warmth from there. We need it here. It's also cold in Mexico. Okay. We will survive. Oh, we will make it till spring, I'm sure. So for now, you can just let me know. Have you ever heard about dopamine? It's quite famous nowadays. Maybe you already know something or you have read some books about dopamine. Nice, in connection with addiction. How about something more optimistic, like a reward or motivation? We will wait one more minute and I will just start. Yes, chocolate gives dopamine also. It's a chemical of our brains. It produces for us to do what it wants. Nice. Amazing. So I just want to be sure that everybody can hear me, everybody can see me, but also everyone can see the presentation. Amazing. Perfect. So welcome everyone at today's session about a dopamine loop. I'm so happy to see here all of you, and I think that this session is quite on point because with the start of the year, we all are making a big plans, how to be more successful, how to grow more, how to be maybe even more happy. We are setting up our goals. We are working on our plans, and sometimes during the year, we can feel that some days are maybe more joyful and some days are a little bit less joyful. Sometimes we are wondering why some days we are more motivated, some days we are less motivated. So about all of this, we will speak today. at our session. And I want to show you that our moods, our emotions are not just result of our will and how good we are if we are working hard enough on ourselves, but sometimes it can be simply a result of our chemistry inside our body. And once we understand the chemistry inside our body, we can take a control, we can take action, and we can change that chemistry and create for us the better feelings, better emotions, moods, and a better reality, better experience of this life. So for all of you who don't know me yet, my name is Teresa, and I've been passionate about the neuroscience for quite some time. I've been working with the teams, with individuals, and it's my big pleasure to guide you today. What I have realized also on my own journey is that everything what we want to change, everything what we would like to grow in our life is starting with awareness. That the first step of the change is awareness, to be aware what is happening with my body, what is happening with my experience in work, in a relationship, how am I experiencing my reality? So that's my first welcome, or that's my first input for you to find ways how to bring more of your awareness in life. And as we will be doing today, going through this masterclass, this seminar, there are a few practicalities. So I'm very happy that all of you are already communicating with me with emojis through the chat. That helps a lot. So it is more about the interaction. I'll be giving you some questions during the session. So I'll be happy if you share with me. Also, take your paper and your pen to write down some of your notes, some of your ideas. Maybe you would like to go through that also later to have a real insights and a space for journaling. For those, I'm also recording the session. So if anyone will be interested in the recording, let me know after the session. I will happily share. But I'm welcoming you to be fully present this time, these 50 minutes that we'll be doing this, because this is the best moment when you can benefit the most out of the information I will be sharing with you. Also, feel free to have some water, feel free to have some coffee, matcha, anything what you like. Take your seats and let's enjoy this ride. So first of all, I would like to bring more of your awareness into the topic, and maybe you will find yourself in some of these numbers, because it is proved that around 40% of the people are actually struggling during their week emotionally, mentally, even though they are not necessarily diagnosed by the psychiatrist, but it can be heavy, the workload. Also, many people are multitasking, even though multitasking is not good for our mental health, not good for a dopamine loop. We'll be speaking about it. And many people, many professionals who are spending the time mainly by the laptop, they are struggling to maintain the focus. And all of that is connected with dopamine. And I would like to ask you, how many times have you checked your phones in the last 30 minutes? How many times? Many times. The phone became our long hand, right? Ten times, 5 to 10 times. Yes, phone is very important for our brain, right? How many times do you feel the urge to multitask? So maybe you are sitting here with me already 10 minutes, and during those 10 minutes, you have managed to check your emails, you have managed to answer to your kids or to your wife, husband. Yes, at least 10 times per hour. Interesting. It's happening. And when you get bored, what do you do first? When you start to feel boredom. I hate multitasking, but I do it so much. Yes, I know. When we feel bored, we check the phone, Instagram. It's like a quick check the phone. Amazing. So with this, I want to bring your awareness to the topic and to see that the numbers are quite high and that you are not alone, that this is happening to all of us. And we are here today to find some tricks, hacks, how to beat it and how to build up a better life for ourselves, more balanced probably. So let's start with the key question, and that is, what is actually dopamine? So dopamine is a chemical that is released in our brain that is influencing the synapses between the neurons. And it is very important chemical because it is creating something in our experience. And that is a joy, happiness, excitement, experience of a reward, even orgasm is coming from a dopamine. But this is often misled because dopamine is not just these emotions. Dopamine represents all the right. It represents the right from the beginning. It is pushing us to start the activities that will end with this experience of joy, happiness, excitement, and so on. So what are the activities? You can see it nicely in the pictures. It is the activities to go hunting, to get the food, even though we right? Then the activities to find a safe space, to find a home where we can feel safe. Another activity is to be social, to spend the time with friends, to find a mate, to find a couple, to be in the partnership. Also, it is something what is helping us to create our habits. It is something what creates that fire inside us, that when we decide that we want to create something, we want to finish a task, it is a dopamine that is behind. It is the fire. So that is what dopamine represents. And maybe the easiest way how to understand how dopamine works is to look into the history. It's to look 200,000 years ago when we were this human at the very beginning. And our big task in life and when the dopamine was released was in the moment when we were able to get a food, when we went hunting, when we were able to take care of the cave, when we were able to take care of our social group, of our tribe. And for that, we needed to create some amount of energy. So there was an effort. And only after the effort, we received the reward. What is happening nowadays is that we have this cheap dopamine, right? We don't need to make such a big effort to get a food. It is actually that click on the phone that brings us the food. We don't need to make a big effort for our social group. It is again one click of sending a message to our friends, and so on and so on. So what has happened is that biologically we haven't changed. It has been 200,000 years and biologically our nervous system hasn't changed compared to the environment when we are spending a lot of time, compared to the technological evolution, the social culture evolution. And that is creating a big disbalance. And that is why sometimes we are asking ourselves why there is so much anxiety around us, why there are much more cases of depressions. Why is this happening? And it is because of this disbalance. And it is not because something is really wrong with us. I want you really take this away from you, this guilt, It's heavy. It's because we are just designed a little bit different, and we need to learn how to function in this world of the fast growth, of the fast evolution, when our brain nervous system still works as before. So to present you dopamine a little bit more, so you understand how it works, there are many dopamine systems in our brain, and today we'll speak about two of them. The first one is the motivation reward system. It is the system based on effort, reward, and motivation. It is something what is happening every day multiple times. And the second one is based on the willpower and self-regulation. It is helping us to choose the long-term goals over the short-term rewards. So let's look more closer on the motivation reward system. So motivation reward system is an amazing system that we are using every day, and it has only two questions and cares only about two things. And it is, how hard is this what I am doing, and what will I get back? That's the only thing what it cares. It doesn't care if it's logical. It doesn't care if it is good for our body. These are the only two questions that this system is asking. And it is running automatically. It is very fast, and it is very strongly driven by dopamine. It results in repetition, in our habits, and it's very easily to be hacked by these fast dopamines, as checking up the phone, notifications, gaming, and so on. And I would like you to look more deeper inside it, because over here in this slide, there are many answers to your daily activities and the choices of your daily activities. And once you bring awareness to them, you will be able to define in which spectrum you are and what activities maybe you need to put in more of your schedule. So what happens if I put very high effort into something, but my reward is very low? I'm not really motivated, right? It is the first line. I'm not really motivated. And this is interesting in our work. If we are making the Excel file that will not work out at the end, or the presentation that ends up somewhere far, far away and is not used, it is that pointless administration, or even cleaning the kitchen, unclear task, no recognition. That's the first one. Another option is when I work very hard for something and I get very good reward in the back. It's, for example, learning languages. I work hard to learn Spanish, or what I am, and then my reward is that I can really speak with someone in the street. And that's very healthy. That's healthy, sustainable. And this is the line where we should keep our learnings, our activities in, because it has quite high motivation, but it doesn't burst the dopamine that much in our system. Another one is when we put a low effort and the reward is low. It can be like a scrolling on Instagram, scrolling through the social media, being kind of passive. It's a so-so. And the last one is when we do very low effort and we get very high reward. And that is, for example, alcohol, but it can be also social media. It can be also sugar. It can be also snacking. It is the maximum of the dopamine is released, and very fast. So I've already said that addiction belongs to the last one, low effort, high reward. I would like to ask you where burnout comes from. Which one is it? 1, 2, 3, 4. Just give me a number. 1. Yes, exactly. It's 1. And I have a small exercise for you. I would like you to take one of the daily activities that you do. And I would like you to measure how much effort you put in and how much reward you take out. And in the meantime, you do this. I would like to share with you, it's my personal experience with the burnout. Obviously, I have spent a lot of effort and I didn't receive a reward. And for me, for now, what it means, now when I know the system, it means that I need to pay extra attention to spend the time on the tasks that are in the right zone, on high effort, high reward, or even low effort, low reward, somewhere in the middle. I should not spend 70% and more time on the tasks that are leading to burnout. And anyone who might have a problems with any of the extreme, either the addiction or the burnout, can analyze this for themselves. And this is also an amazing tool, for example, for leaders, business owners, HRs, to actually see and measure and inspire, motivate their teams in the right level, right amount of the effort and the reward. So where do you spend most of the time? In a burnout, in the healthy outcome, in the passive and the addiction? Please tell me in the chat. I'm curious. Addiction side. Yes, in the addiction, it can be also coffee, for example. When we drink a coffee, it's a very fast, high reward for our brain. Okay. One, two. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing. And now we are moving to another system, and it is the second system I was talking about. It is a willpower self-regulation system. And that system we like because this system is stronger than the motivation reward system. It is regulating it. It is making us focus for our long-term goals and the values. But it's very fragile. It's very sensitive to any stress, fatigue, to substances, for emotions. Once this hits us, it hits willpower, self-regulation system. And that moment, we are losing that overview of the long-term goals. And who takes over is the motivation effort system. Yes, the first system is taking over. It's because it's faster. The dopamine is faster. So as a dopamine, you can see as a dopamine is a very helpful chemical. It is helping us in our brain to keep going, to have the rewards, to have the results. It's also quite tricky because it doesn't recognize and it's not that smart as we wish it was. And nowadays, we have a lot of attacks on our dopamine systems because from outside, the companies, the advertisement, all of them, they are fighting for our dopamine. All of them want us to experience on their advertisement, on their products, on their content, the dopamine rise. And it is creating us very sensitive, no? Because it's something what we can't control. And what is working actually for our brain is something what moves, because naturally 200,000 years ago, we were charged that if something moves, it is either danger or it's a food. Also, we are much more sensitive to negative information than the positive because of the safety. But at the end, maybe we don't want to spend the time on the negativity. We feel attracted to something what is negative and not positive, and that is feeding us. So did you know that actually we check the phone 90 to 150 times a day? And it is all because of these loops, all because of these attacks. And that when we check that phone, we take just 30 seconds. So it is very habitual. We take it, we look at it and put it on the side. So dopamine works actually like thermostat. Imagine your home where you have a thermostat and there is some temperature which is set up as a baseline, and it's a temperature that you want at home, right? But then something happens and the temperature goes higher and the thermostat starts to lower it down, or the temperature goes lower and the thermostat turns on and brings back the temperature back to the baseline. That's dopamine system. That's a dopamine mechanism. That's what dopamine wants in our body. But sometimes it breaks. If it's all the time going up and down, the thermostat will get kind of lost. And here is where we are getting to the dopamine loop. Dopamine loop is the system how dopamine works in our body, in our brain. And I would like you to understand here 3 important terms, which will be for your guideline for your life, how to work with the dopamine. The first term is dopamine baseline. It is, let's say, the pool of the dopamine in your body. The higher the baseline, better. We will speak about it. Another term is dopamine peak, or we can call also the spike. It is the moment of the excitement, of the joy, when the most of the dopamine reach the top. Then there is a dopamine drop, the moment when it goes below the baseline and it doesn't feel comfortable. It is the moment of the anxiety. How does this dopamine loop? What is happening? How does this dopamine loop work? What is happening with our body? So at the beginning, there is some emotion, there is a notification, there is a chocolate. We eat the chocolate and our dopamine goes up, right? We are taking the action, we eat it. Then it hits the spike. Oh my God, the chocolate is so delicious. It's so delicious. And this is the moment when the brain takes notes, when the brain learns and is writing down, okay, we want this. Chocolate is excitement, is a joy. And then the dopamine drops down. And because it has taken some from all the pool of the dopamine in our body, it goes below the baseline because the body needs to kind of rebalance. It takes a time to rebalance back to the baseline. And in this drop, we don't feel well. We feel we are missing something. We might feel bored. We might feel stressed, anxious, emotional, and we don't like it. Who likes to feel stressed? Who likes to feel anxious? And often it is just a matter of time. It is actually a matter to like a step back, take a couple of breaths, and this feeling will release because we will manage to balance back our dopamine. But often it is very intuitive. It's very fast. Okay, one more chocolate. And it's going on and going on again. And we are creating the baseline lower and also the dopamine drop lower. Now some practicalities. Is everybody understanding dopamine loop? Hands up. Yes, we understand it. Amazing. So let's focus a little bit more on the dopamine baseline. Dopamine baseline, if you want to remember something from this class, is take care of your dopamine baseline. If you have strong dopamine baseline, the peaks and the drops are not that bad. So how can you take care of your baseline? Sleep. Good number of hours of sleeping, very important. Taking the sunlight, facing the sun, and regular physical exercise. That helps actually a lot. For some people, it's a good news, and for some people, a little bit worse, but physical exercise is very important to keep our baseline stable. That means that we are more protected against anything that might attack us, all these emotions, right? Another one is also the deep rest and adequate nutrition. So that's the baseline. Another one is dopamine spike. So here you can see what happens with the spike. The spike is actually much more lower if our baseline is higher. Dopamine spike. For dopamine spike is important how fast the spike goes. If it's very fast spike like this, not good. If the spike is high, not good. And how big is the contrast between the spike and the baseline? Also, the larger the contrast, not so good. So we want to stay the most wavy as possible with our spike. What is causing our spike? Sugar, sweets, but also alcohol. Alcohol is actually increasing the normal level of the spike up to 100%. And then when we look at the nicotine, even 200% increase of the spike. And then we are going more to another terms as cocaine or methamphetamine and so on. What is happening with this area is that when we raise our dopamine that much and artificially, is that not that we are spiking too much, we are also destroying the synapses and the ability of the receptors to be sensitive to the dopamine. So that's why some people actually can't feel a joy after some time at all. But don't worry, you can spike yourself pretty well also with the social media, notification, gambling, high stimulation digital environment, like using many tools at once, multitasking, like I'm doing right now, for example. Now I'm on spike. So I would like you to look at these activities. I put down some activities that we do every day during our day. They are also positive, also like a fast spikes, if we can say. And I would like you to tell me and share with me, and to think about it mainly for yourself. What type of activities are causing your spikes during the day? Is it a coffee? Is it exercise? What are your spikes? Feel free to share with me, please. Think about it. Is it just multitasking or feeling busy, solving the problems? Is it validation? Being busy? Yeah, when you feel busy, you feel good, right? You feel like you are producing something. For notification, smoke, exercise, feeling busy, social media. Multitasking with music. Also with analyzing this just for yourself. it can help you to learn how many of your activities are the fast spikes and how many of them are, let's say, the more healthy ones. And then we have the dopamine drop. That's the moment when we are going down, down, down the baseline and it's uncomfortable. How does it make you feel? Do you experience dopamine drop? Tell me, share with me. Moment of awareness. How do you feel when you can't check your phone exactly when you need? How do you feel when you don't have your daily dose of a coffee? How do you feel after the excitement? With a dopamine drop, there is coming also something interesting that sometimes in the moments when we reach a big milestone in our life, winning an award or getting promoted, we get very, very excited. It's a big experience for us. So the dopamine is going up, up, up. And sometimes people experience emptiness. Like 1 hour later, people can start to feel empty. And they're asking themselves, why do I feel empty? I have worked so hard. I got promoted. I got award. It's because the peak was very high and the drop was also high. And when the dopamine drops, how do you solve it out? What do you usually do? Do you scroll? Do you take the phone? Do you start to eat? Do you work more? But you don't have to worry. This will naturally, eventually balance itself. The body is wise, but it feels uncomfortable. So for now, we have talked about 2 dopamine systems, and we have talked about the dopamine loop in a detail to understand when it peaks, when it drops, and where is the baseline. And now I'm coming to something what I want all of you to remember. If it is one thing you remember out of this masterclass, it needs to be this, because this will change your way, how you will approach your goals, how you will act, how you will make your decisions on a daily basis. And maybe you will remember me at some moment at your work 6 months later. So how do we defer people who burn out on their trajectory in their life compared to people who manage to grow sustainably and in the long term? There is something what they are doing differently. And what is it? They learn how to generate motivation from effort itself. They learn how to move the peak, the spike of a dopamine into the moment of effort and not into the moment of award. Saying it very easily, they learn that the path is the experience, is the goal and not the goal itself. I'm saying it right? But they learn how to do it. They program their body with that. And they are the hacks. How can they do it? Because we are all kind of wired by the system where we grow up and how our work system works. That first we suffer and then we get rewarded. First we work hard and then we get rewarded. First we work and then we get our salary, right? But this is very difficult for our brain to understand because it's too far. The salary in 1 month, it's too far. It doesn't count for our brain. No, it will not work. Also, our promotion, if it happens in 1 year time, it will not work as well. So we need to learn how to find the motivation within ourselves for the activities that we are doing. Because we are very much used to be rewarded from outside, from the salary, bonuses, promotions, recognitions, acceptance by our social group, how we are seen, how we are perceived by others. But no, our main motivators needs to be from within, from inside, our progress, the learning, mastering a topic, engagement with the task itself. Actually, there has been done one very interesting test with kids. So kids, when they were very small, they taught them how to draw, right? To enjoy basically the activity of drawing. And they loved it. They were drawing every day with a joy, happiness. You see it. They had the spike in the effort. Then they started to give them a reward stars. Every time you draw a picture, you will get a reward star. Oh, they kept drawing, they got the reward stars. They were happy, but all of a sudden they took away the reward stars and they were asked, the kids, again to draw just from the joy, just from the effort itself. But it wasn't working. So we can see it is a very tricky system. So please, remember this. Now we will look into some practicalities, how to do it actually, how we can take care of ourselves, what activities we can put in our timetable to be able to move this spike into the effort, into the activity itself. So the first one is that before the effort, we don't spike. Before the effort, we make sure that our dopamine doesn't spike. So what we do before work, we don't go to cafeteria with our colleagues or into the part in the workplace to have a coffee with them. No, we don't eat chocolate. We don't tell ourselves, okay, I will scroll a little bit longer and then I will start to work. We will not do any of these activities just before the effort. Why? Because we are spiking our brain before taking actually the action. And after the spike, we all know it goes only drop. So we want to wait until our dopamine rises naturally. So we just take off with our work. What helps also a lot, and many of you know, but it is coming from these principles, to divide the day into small wins. So we can look at our sheet with the paper, with the things we need to do, basically the task clicks. That helps a lot. Also, what dopamine loves rituals. So if you connect your start of the workday with a ritual, something what you enjoy, ritual, the dopamine will love you and will reward you later on. So remember, rituals. Then we have the during effort, right? So I'm working on this Excel sheet and it is not working very well. And I've been working on it already 5 hours and I'm starting to get very frustrated. What am I supposed to do? Okay, first I need to bring in my own awareness. And I need to make sure that I don't recognize this after the work. So I don't tell myself, okay, this was very difficult, let me take a break and let me have a coffee. Let me have a sweet snacks. Let me do some fast dopamine or scroll on the social media. It's very important. We don't want to create this spike in the middle of the work. Also, if the work has been frustrating, we don't ask ourselves questions as did I succeed or was it perfect? We want more to ask the questions. Did I show up the best way I could? Did I engage actually fully today? So here are the core rules. Don't spike dopamine before effort. Don't spike the dopamine immediately after the effort. And learn how to find the dopamine in the effort itself, how to actually enjoy the activity that we are doing. But what can happen on our way? It can happen that we have been in the environment where there has been too many dopamine spikes, too many dopamine loops, and we are overstimulated. We are kind of addicted to our phone, as we were saying before. We are, we keep drinking the coffee. We keep multitasking. Even though we try not, we can't get out of it. And in that moment, it's good to take some dopamine reset. And I recommend to everyone to do this dopamine reset for a couple of the reasons. Dopamine reset you can do different ways, but what I recommend the most is basically turn off your phone 6-7 p.m. when everybody's home, everything is safe, put it somewhere far away, and take all the evening, all the night, till the morning when you wake up and you turn on the phone again. Or you can be more drastic, you can do all one day, 24 hours, or even full weekend. But I'm telling you, it will not be comfortable. It will not be comfortable because you will be facing these dopamine drops and you will be facing emotions that you have been suppressing with a dopamine all the time before. So maybe you felt a little bit sad or disappointed about something. Okay, doesn't matter. Let's have a chocolate. This will come on the surface. And I invite you to welcome these feelings and then to be scared about these feelings. They might be overwhelming at the beginning, but they will do the same. They will just peak and they will go back to the baseline. Have you ever tried any dopamine reset detox? Have you tried to put aside your phone for a couple of hours or something like that? Nope. 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 It was very difficult. We need to do some dopamine challenge, dopamine reset challenge. Yes, disconnecting. Nice. Okay. This is one of my favorite quotes. All of humanity's problems stem from the man's inability to sit quietly in a room alone. Many of you know that I'm a big supporter of meditation. And this is one of the reasons, because in meditation, we are able to balance the dopamine, we are able to set up the baseline, we are able to observe our emotions, we are able to sit quietly and alone. So as we are getting more towards the end of our masterclass, I have a cheat sheet for you. First one is the set of the activities that will help you to support your dopamine. So if you have recognized yourself in any of these things I was sharing during the masterclass, that you feel more anxious, that you might experience moments of demotivation, keep doing these things. Movement, walking, running, physical exercise. What helps a lot on dopamine? And it is not just a marketing trick, it's a cold exposure. Yes, this swimming in icy lake will help your dopamine. Your body will thank you. Actually, it stabilizes the dopamine in the body for 4 to 5 hours. It has very long-term influence. Meditation, flow states, sleep, connection, and peace. And I want you to remember this 5-step protocol. Maybe you can take a picture of it or however you want. First thing everyone needs to remember: protect your baseline. Do activities to keep your baseline high and strong. Second, have a first aid kit. Know what helps you to get out from the dopamine drops. Maybe it's a walk, maybe it's a sleep, a music, something not aggressive, peaceful. Number 3, bring your dopamine peak into the moments of your effort. Enjoy the path. Reduce the cheap spikes, detox yourself, and use the supportive dopamine activities as I've been talking about. So the idea is not to really chase high dopamine, but is to train yourself to have a stable motivation, to have a stable dopamine loops, up and down, up and down. And as I've been talking about these systems, I have realized that many times in the work environments, the leaders, the bosses, they are setting up the standards by KPIs, by the numbers that are actually not very good for the team's dopamine. And that's one of the reasons why we have a high number of burnouts, of addictions. And if you, as a leader, if you are able to take this information and think how you can actually incorporate it in your team a healthy way, then you have half win. Then you have a people on your side. And if you would like me to help you with, I'm happy to do so. There is a QR code where you can also check with me some 15 minutes of catch up. So catch up with me, any type of a feedback you have. I'm also doing mental well-being calendar for teams to sustain their well-being in the work, to prevent some of these burnouts and another negative loops. But I'm also working with individuals, and it has been my mission to work with the subconscious of the people, to open them this large ocean of the subconscious, and to help them to make changes over there so they can live the life they want, they came here for, they wish for themselves, the life of coherence, the life of a joy, full of love and light. So these are my 2 main streams. Feel free to speak with me about this, about something else. You can contact me here, or even here are some more of the contact details. If you wish so, you can look at my website. And it has been my pleasure. I'm looking forward also to invite you for next masterclass in 1 or 2 months, where we will for sure discover another interesting topic, different angles. I love to connect the science and, let's say, the psychological / spiritual approach to life to describe things from different angles and different perspectives. So feel free to reach out to me with any inspiration that came up to you today. It has been my pleasure. And I thank you, everyone, all. If somebody would like to receive the recording so you can complement a little bit more on the information and maybe journal on it, take it with you when you have more time, let me know. Okay? So thank you so much. Thank you, thank you. I'm looking now into the messages. Thank you, Atanas. Thank you, Daisy. Have a great evening and great start of the year. Let's enjoy the ride. Bye-bye.